Courtesy of the floor. This is for public comment on ordinances and resolutions to be voted on by council this evening. Recalling all of you who are here, there's a 5-minute time limit. Sir. And it's only pertaining to the minutes that are things that are on the agenda. Go ahead, Steve.
Stephen and Top, 737 Ridge, concerning the funding in the communications. I took a very close look at South Main Street parking, and I was impressed with the extensive spaces on the opposite side of the area of issue. For the last parking spot just below the Marion Bookstore down to Market Street, there's quite a distance. And the point I'm making is this, that if you take a right turn from Market to Main, there's quite an area blocked from traffic by horizontal lines. And the access from Market to Main is single lane. Are you listening? So that simply, if you extended parking on the side of the street where the bookstore exists down to the last parallel or horizontal white line, you can include probably 8 to 10 parking spaces without restricting traffic coming off Market to Main. So the idea being that if that were pursued at much less expense, the problem would be that the curb is high and there's a drainage underneath the curb. But that's easily solved. So that you could almost double the parking spots that you're talking about without interfering with the historical site across the street. Has anyone really looked into that option? It clearly would allow parking, because from the curb to the edge of those parallel lines restricting driving is almost double the car length. And the lane coming, again I'm repeating, the lane coming from Market to Main is a right turn and at a stop sign and subjected to traffic coming up from Main Street from under the bridge. So that would absolutely eliminate traffic problem, because it would delineate the right of way and allow the people from coming from Main to Market Street from Church to Main to pull right into those parking spots. I looked at it 3 times. I said, goodness gracious, this is fundamentally a simple answer to the parking. And I've not heard any comments from anybody precisely looking into that. So I would urge the community, the administration, and city council to pursue this. The only problem I would have, it would restrict the vision from the street to the Moravian church, but that wouldn't matter because the church has such a large profile. Am I making sense here? I'm getting some yes, nods to the yes. I'd love to hear some comments on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight? Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, Bruce Haynes, 65 West Market Street. I think all of you are aware of the alternative proposals that have been discussed. This is what Stephen is discussing, is something different, a little additional area to pursue. But I think all of you are aware at the last meeting and at the Finance Committee meeting that the proposal has been put on the table to do the bridge with 23 spots and across from the hotel, converting that from, on Main Street, converting that from parallel parking to the angle parking to pick up anywhere from 3 to 5 spaces depending upon what the final result is there. So bottom line is, I would hope that there would be no transfer tonight of the funding for Main Street parking to the ice rink, which was originally proposed. I'm not sure if that's the resolution tonight that's on the table or whether it got changed. But I would implore you not to take any money away from the South Main Street parking until there's a resolution of the cost. It's been estimated it's $50,000 to put in the 26 to 27 spaces, which is roughly $2,000 per space versus the $42,000 per space that was being looked at for the Smithy. So this is 3 times the amount of parking for substantially 10 to 15% of the cost. And so we don't want to lose sight, and I'm concerned that all the funds are going to be pulled out of the Main Street parking until we really understand if that estimate is in fact true, that it's 50,000, unless we have the 50,000 there somewhere else to complete the parking project. I would implore you not to move the funds out of Main Street parking yet until that can be resolved. Secondly, I think you're all aware that I also was recommending that a portion of the original $300,000 that now could be $50,000, that still leaves $250,000 available, and I would implore you to also consider helping to upgrade the window on Main area with that exists there, our fine historic buildings there, and not let the north side deteriorate. I fully understand and appreciate the expense and effort that's going on the south side, but hopefully it's not at the expense of seeing a deterioration and taking the opportunity to enhance and make more compelling the history that is such an allure right now for tourists that bring people to this city. And so in addition to taking the parking opportunity that is much more expensive, the alternative parking opportunities, I would also request that some amount of funding be considered to be left for the historic Bethlehem Partnership area, and particularly the window on Main, to improve the pathways down there, fix the drainage that is a problem there, and to also consider the period lighting along the pathways to make it more attractive, and move the signage perhaps that's down right up to the walkway. So there are some things that can be done there for relatively small amounts of money that still would leave plenty of money for the ice rink for however much the ice rink is going to need. So my point is, if you could put $50,000 and add 27 spaces on the bridge and Main Street, and maybe put another $50,000 into improving our historic buildings, which are, there's no city funding going to the historic buildings down there, and they're rotting away. And we don't want to lose that aspect of what we have. We can't let the north side deteriorate. So I implore you not to move the funds out of the Main Street parking area unless there's adequate back funding somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Is there anyone